Hello. Thank you for joining. My name is Kara Goodwin, and I'm the host of the Meditation Conversation podcast, which is becoming the Soul Elevation podcast. So we're just a few weeks away from the Soul Elevation being launched. I had an incredible backlog of episodes with the Meditation Conversation that had already been recorded. In preparation, I shared in my last live that my daughter has had a major surgery. We've been in recovery mode for that. And so I had a lot of podcasts that I'd recorded and kind of queued up so that while I was tending to that huge upheaval in my life, I could keep the podcast going without having to keep recording and editing and so forth. But that means that as I was preparing to transition to the Soul Elevation, I had a lot of episodes that had already been recorded that said things like, "Welcome to the Meditation Conversation," and had the branding and everything. So we'll get all of those released. And I think by mid to late January, that change will happen. So today I want to talk about New Year's resolutions, kind of. That's not really the main theme of the episode, but because we are at the end of the year as I'm recording this, we're at the end of 2024, and a lot of people we're all looking ahead at 2025. That is just a few days away, and this is a great time for us to stop and take note, take stock of our lives and where it is that we want to be going, where we are, and how to get to where we want to be from where we are. And so, a lot of people who watch my content are on an ascension journey, they're on a soul journey, they're wanting to um, to deepen their connection to their spirit, deepen their connection to their soul, connect to their higher selves. And this is a very achievable goal. If you're newer on the path and you're just starting to wake up to this truth that you are a soul, it might feel like you've been living in the material world, kind of surface level for a long time, and maybe it feels like for other people can experience their soul and you can't. But that's really not true. It's your soul connection is available to everybody. And likewise, or on the other side of the coin, I should say, you may have been on a spiritual path for a while and just want to keep deepening because there's no end to our spiritual development. It's not necessarily like, in many ways, it's like climbing a mountain, but in the way that if you climb a physical mountain, you can reach a summit, and that's kind of your end point. Of course, you have to come back down, but there's a definitive point where you get to the top. It's not like that with spiritual development. There are peaks, and there are continual peaks. It's not that you become enlightened and that's the end. Even the most enlightened person has more and more that they can embody, more of God's light that they can embody. They can keep deepening their connection. This universe, if there's anything that I know about this, the quantum nature of the universe, the spiritual nature of life, it's that our human brains filter things in a way. If in order to have a human experience, we have a human perspective, a human brain, and it is a filtration system. And we can keep making new connections and new configurations, new neural connections that help to open up our ability to understand more of the mystery and depth of the universe from a spiritual perspective. But it's unending. Our human brain, our human computing system, if you want to think of it that way, it can't hold it all. This universe is just profound and beautiful and complex beyond the limitations of our human understanding. So, in my perspective, even the most enlightened person still has more and more that they can discover from a spiritual perspective. So, as we are going on our human progression and our spiritual journey, it can help to take stock and think of how far we've come, where we are, and where we want to get to. And so the new year is a great time to do that. And one of the common things, especially more and more these days, is to take a break from alcohol, to have a dry January, for example, or to just give up alcohol, period. And I personally stopped drinking in 2018. So it's been about 6.5 years. And I didn't stop drinking because I had a problem, but I was getting more interested in energy work, in healing work, and in spirituality. And I started to understand that alcohol was not compatible with that. And, you know, it- um, 6 years ago, 6.5 years ago, I was living in Italy. And so alcohol was very much a a way of life there. Not that it's not in America, but, it's just having some wine with dinner is just kind of what you do. So it was something that I, even as I was getting, more ingrained in spiritual living, I really rejected the idea of stopping drinking, especially because I didn't feel that I had a problem. It was more that I was a social drinker, but it wasn't necessarily like I mean, sometimes I would drink to excess, to be honest. Sometimes I would drink to excess, but typically I might have a glass or two of wine a few times a week. I wasn't even drinking every day. I would have many days where I wasn't drinking in a row. In fact, if I remember correctly, it was kinda like Sunday to Thursday I didn't drink or something, and then I would have wine on the weekends. Um, so I really didn't feel that I had a problem with it, but as I started to understand the nature of energy, I realized that I was holding myself back. I was inviting in this intrusion into my energy fields, and I wanted to be an effective healer of others. I really wanted to help other people, and of course, for my own sake. And so I want to talk a little bit about what alcohol does. Alcohol, you have an auric field, you have an energy field. If you've ever heard of the aura, people can see auras. Some people can see auras. You can have your picture taken. There are certain cameras that can take pictures of your aura. This is the energy field that surrounds your physical body. It is part of you. It's just typically with our human eyes, the standard human eyes can't see the aura. So most people can't see the aura, but you can actually train yourself. I'm reading an interesting book right now called How to See Your Aura by Ted Andrews, I think it is. If I remember, I'll put the link in the notes. And it's fascinating. It's just this thin little book my friend Lori recommended, and it gives you exercises of what you can do to help yourself train your eyes to be able to see the aura. But anyway, so the aura is the energy around your body, and it's a part of your energetic makeup. And you can strengthen your aura, but likewise, certain things weaken your aura. So things like pollution, negativity, um, external influences can weaken your aura. Just a general the environment that you're in can weaken your aura. It's one of these things, like your aura can be super strong to where it's influencing your environment, where your energy is changing the energy around your environment. But for a lot of people, their auras are weaker. They're not that strong, and the external energies are influencing their aura because it's not built up enough. It's not strong enough that it's influencing the external. Rather, it's being influenced by the external. Um, we can have tears and fissures and kind of openings in our aura where we have vulnerabilities. And this is where we can get psychic attacks. This is where um, we can get physical ailments. We can get disease. We can have, that's through these energetic fissures, these openings in our auric field where external energies can come in and they can cause disharmony within our system that can lead to physical issues. And so things like ingesting alcohol weaken our energy field. It weakens our aura, for example, not just our aura, our whole being, our physical body as well is this energy. And we have, even beyond our aura, we have energy fields that are even more subtle. And those also are impacted. Everything is interconnected. So it's not like alcohol only affects our physical body or it only affects our auric field. It's all interconnected. But alcohol, honestly, and I say this without judgment because, again, I drank happily for many, many years, and didn't feel that I had a problem with it. So I'm not saying this from a place of judgment. I just want you to have all the facts, and there are all kinds of health benefits and health risks. I mean to say health risks with drinking that you can, physically that you can research. That's not what I'm going into today, but from a spiritual and energetic perspective, alcohol is one of those lower energy things that weakens your energy field. It weakens your aura. So when you ingest alcohol, it is toxic. It's a toxin. So pollution, likewise, if you're in a heavily polluted area, that is going to affect your energy. It's going to affect the strength of your aura, the strength of your energy field, because it's toxic. Pollution is are toxins in the air. And you can, again, you are in control. You can keep strengthening your energy, strengthening your aura so that you're not as affected by things like pollution. But pollution will kind of be challenging to keeping a strong energy. But it's the same thing if you're going to choose to ingest toxins like alcohol. It's poison. We know that it's poison. That's not news. That's not something controversial. It's poisonous. So we can choose to ingest toxins, choose to ingest poison, and understand that that is weakening to our energy field, to our aura, to our being. So not only do you have those physical effects, but you have the energetic effects as well. And so it's just something to keep in mind as you're looking ahead to 2025, and you might be considering things that you might want to implement in your own life, to help you progress on your spiritual journey. I would encourage you to think about if you do drink alcohol. And again, don't get into the judgment. Don't get into, feeling badly about yourself if you've never thought about stopping drinking or if you've never thought about the spiritual implications of energy. You're not a bad person if you've been drinking. There's nothing to be ashamed of. But I mean, I've been through this myself, the way that, I want to reemphasize how I started this. Before I stopped drinking, I drank regularly and I enjoyed it. And it wasn't until I thought about my energy systems and who I wanted to be, how I wanted to live my life, that I even questioned, because it's so normalized. So and then I made the choice to stop. So this is something, don't listen to this and feel any shame or any embarrassment about where you are, but just use it as an opportunity to reflect on your own life and think about, is this a step that you're ready to take? I have a really interesting podcast episode that's going to be released on Sunday. Some of you may have actually seen this one already because I accidentally released it a couple of weeks ago. I released 2 episodes at the same time accidentally because my life is kind of upside down right now, and I have a lot of balls in the air. So that Mary Beth Shredder, and I have a great discussion, and one of the things is about alcohol and going dry, and her journey with that. And I share a little bit as well about my journey with alcohol. Um, and I wanted to release this right before the new year because, again, like, I think it's very appropriate for people who are thinking about positive changes that they may want to make in their own lives. So look for that coming on Sunday. And that's Mary Beth Shredder's episode of the Meditation Conversation. And that's it. I'll wrap this up. And I hope that you have a beautiful day, a beautiful finish to 2024. Thank you so much for being here. I wish you many, many blessings. Thank you so much.